Good morning, everyone. Well, almost all of us, we have a personal tie to addiction in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a personal struggle or one of a loved one. It's never easy to talk about, and luckily, our next guests are here to help us start the conversation. And Greg Hannley and Daniel Baldwin with Soba Recovery are back, along with the beautiful Tara Connor, Miss USA 2006, and recovery advocate, and also Rocky.
And Rocky.
We can't forget Rocky. And before we start, can I just say congratulations to Tara, because she was recently engaged, and I'm blinded by the ring on that finger.
Thank you.
He did good.
He did real good.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. And it's actually, oh, there it is.
Oh,
See?
wait, bling, bling.
This is not for you, Rocky. This is for Mama.
So pretty. Are you so excited?
Yeah, I'm really grateful. Dan's the most amazing friend and partner ever, and he designed it specifically for me.
This is her moment, Daniel.
Back up!
Let her have her moment.
I just heard Dan. I moved in.
I'm right here.
Anyway, it's called the Sunlight of Tara. They named it. Isn't that
Beautiful.
so cute? I love it. I'm
You
really
deserve
grateful.
it.
Thank you.
All the happiness in the world. We're very happy for you.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see wedding pictures. All right, guys, so let's get to trending topics. I feel like there's a lot that's been happening lately, and we always like to kind of get your take on things that are happening in Hollywood. And, you know, Aaron Carter was just arrested, I guess it was a couple of days ago, for DUI and some other drug-related charges in Georgia. He was stopped with his girlfriend. So he struggled with addiction for a long time. I think he's been pretty open about it. But the catch here is his older brother, Nick Carter, instead of coming to him and saying, hey, you know, I'm here for you, the family's here, he sends out a tweet. And he says, to my brother, I love you no matter what. And then he said some other things. But Aaron was really unhappy about that. The fact that he went on Twitter. I get it.
Sure.
I just want to get your take on that, as far as what the right way to handle that would have been. I'm assuming it isn't on
Sure
Twitter.
It is. It's anything.
Really?
Yeah, it's anywhere. You know, the only mistake you're going to make is if you don't say anything.
Yeah.
So tweet it, Facebook it, write a smoke signal, do whatever.
Morse
do.
code.
Well,
But talk about it. You know, it started the conversation for sure.
well, isn't it interesting that the take on it is he wasn't happy about it? Maybe that was the motive.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe the motive was, look, I've tried a lot of other ways. You know what? I'm going to out you.
You don't listen.
Yeah, I mean, also, you're in the public eye, and I feel like, I mean, look at our president. It's like, what did I have for breakfast this morning? Hey, guys. You know what I mean? So, for him to expect anything, he's in the public eye.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's more of a sign of support, like I'm here for you in a public way to show maybe there wasn't some type of shame or embarrassment there, but you got family that loves you.
I know. And then when he came back and he tweeted back at Nick, he said, if my own blood truly cared about my well-being, why wouldn't he call me directly and have a conversation instead of making this about him through a very public forum?
Addiction, 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 me. That's how it is. It's just about, where's my attention? Oh, now you're trying to steal my thunder. Yeah. Oh, I'm the one that got arrested. Let's talk about me more. That's my take.
No, but that makes sense.
Or
No,
he's
it
getting
does.
back
It
at him.
does.
You know, he's getting back at Nick and trying to make him look bad.
Yeah,
You know?
because, he's
Hopefully,
been
if
down
they
that
both
road
need
too.
treatment, then they'll both come.
But I had
Take them both.
not the same, because social media at the time wasn't what it is now.
Sure, yeah.
But I remember having a sit down with my older brother and saying to him, you know, I really resented you. You know what sobriety's about, and you really weren't there, you know, during that time. You know, you had really little communication with me at all, and you knew I was struggling. And his response was quite compelling, and I never looked at it this way. I don't hang around with people that do drugs. He said, I could not have you in my life. I had to protect my sobriety.
Right.
You know, so when
And you get that.
You know, I do now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Now you get that.
I never even thought about the fact that I don't hang around with people that do cocaine ever. You know, I mean, so
I had to throw him out.
he did throw me out.
I don't hang around either.
Yeah.
Y'all have such a long history together, and I know we haven't talked about that in a while, but there's a long friendship that you've
It's
had.
a long story.
It really is a long story. Hey, but you guys go way back, and the reason, Daniel, that this is so near and dear to you and is because of Greg's program, and it's Soba that worked for you.
He is my sponsor, my mentor, and he saved my life. You know, I'll never forget that first sit down when he went, well, you've been to this place, this place, this place, this is the biggest place you can go to, this place. What's going to be different? And no one ever asked me that, you know, because it was always the same until I got there and they went, no, we're going to shape this around what you do, what your story is. And my recovery in there was very, very different than it had been in the supposed highest end places you can go.
Well, and he had to be out of gas.
You had to be out of gas?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to a point by the time, you know, back in those days, by the time you got to me, I was the last stop in the road. So it was kind of...
That was it.
Yeah, it wasn't the Soba it is now. It was rough. We were planting, he just had developed it, you know, and we were filling in potholes in the parking lot. I mean, he put us to work.
That's right.
That was the program.
All right, guys, well, stick around. We'll have more with Sober Recovery and Tara after the break. Back still hurts a little bit.
Let me tell you something. Hi, I'm Daniel Baldwin, and this is Soba, Texas, where I got sober. When you come to Soba, you're not going to a hospital. You're going to a beautiful ranch. You're going to a place of peace where you're going to join a family of people that have a common problem, addiction or alcohol. Your treatment plan is made by the clinicians here at Soba, depending upon the circumstances in your life, not like one size fits all. It starts with a phone call. Someone will answer the phone and talk you through exactly what your needs are. Call now.
And we are back with Sober Recovery. Greg Hannley, Daniel Baldwin, and Tara Connor, Miss USA 2006 and Recovery Advocate. And we always talk about your latest issue of Recovery Today, which is your publication, Greg. I love that you do that. And on the cover this time is Eden Sassoon, who is a lovely lady who has quite a story.
Really beautiful.
And a beautiful woman, yes.
Yeah, I really liked the interview, too. She was so open about just growing up and relatable. And
this is Hair Dynasty Sassoon, like, you know, Sassoon family.
And, you know, her thing right now is just being helpful, helping people. And I could see how she could relate to a lot of the women that come in. You know, she had a lot of things that went on in her childhood growing up that she said something in the very beginning that she woke up, or she was born, there was some kind of word she used, born less than.
Oh, the feelings of being less than, I relate.
We actually have a soundbite from her where she's talking about emotional trauma and what it can do to you and how it played a role in her life. So maybe she mentions it here. Let's take a look.
I feel like I was born with a broken heart, and until I got sober, I could really, that's what Eden's love story is about. Until I found sobriety, I could really learn to love myself and then know my worth and realize that someone else I could let in.
That's heartbreaking.
But that's how every addict feels. I mean, the way that she says she was born with a broken heart, Greg related it to born with being less than. I mean, we always feel as though, as I am, I'm not enough. And so it's like living in solitary confinement and not knowing if you're ever going to get out or if they're ever going to feed you. And so it's like just this immense loneliness, and I totally relate to that.
I've never heard anyone put it like that. And I'm just thinking of her as a little girl and growing up her whole life and feeling that way and trying to find some way to feel better.
Right.
I think she said in the interview, too, her mom was an alcoholic that got sober when she was maybe 14 or 15.
When Eden was a teenager.
Yeah, so if you're growing up, even if you have a house full of nannies and dad's traveling around, and she said he was building a billion-dollar company, you know, you're missing that emotional support that you get from mom. But that made me sad to hear that.
Yeah,
you know?
That's heartbreaking. It really is. But she really is using this for good. I mean, I told y'all she was the newest housewife on the Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I really liked her last season. She was so open about her story and her addiction and her recovery. And so she's very lovable.
Yeah.
Maybe she can have an effect on some of the women that are on that show.
That'd be nice.
For sure she will.
She's
what are you
lovely.
trying to say, Daniel?
She's lovely.
I'm just saying.
I'm not saying it, but I'm saying it. How
I'm
about
not
that?
saying it, but I'm kind of saying it.
Yeah. Well, I want to also go ahead and get to a couple of viewer questions because we always get so many when our viewers know you guys are coming. And the first one says, how can Soba help someone who's worried their drinking routine might be moving more toward dependence?
Well, Greg says a great thing. He said it earlier on the Facebook question, and that is, if it's affecting the quality of your life, if you're, even really simple things. Are you late a lot? Are you missing work? Are you not
feel
present?
good?
Yeah.
Like you're
if
not
it
all
affects
there.
the quality of your life, you have to take a look at what's different. So
Yeah.
if drinking plays into that, you've probably got a problem.
Yeah.
And you don't have to wait till you got in trouble to go to a meeting.
Right.
There's a certain club that you can go in and poke your head in and see if you relate to some of the things that people are saying and feeling, and maybe you
Your
can
answer.
avoid. Your bottom doesn't have to be
Skid Row.
huge loss or
Yeah.
anything. You can jump in.
And thanks, Greg. Well, we just said, like, for the
Oh, I
thing.
wasn't talking to you. I was talking.
He meant jump in the meeting.
Jump in the
Oh,
meeting.
I thought you were. Oh,
You can jump
I'm
in.
just me
You're up.
thinking about myself only. But you just said it. Like, if if you have to ask, is this moving towards dependence? That's not a normal question to have to ask yourself. So what I tell people is try not picking up anything for 30 days and see what happens to you on the inside, not on the outside, but on the inside.
So
What
then
happens
what's
to
the
your
sign then in
emotional-
those 30 days? What sign
I'll-
would tell you you have
I'll tell you two
problem?
things really quick. Pain has levels. You can just prick yourself with a needle and go, ow, that hurts. Or you can chop your hand off and it hurts a lot more. So there's a lot that leads up to the time when your hand falls off. You've lost your job, you've lost your wife. You don't have to wait for it to be that evident.
You don't have to
But the
wait for the
second
hand
thing
chop.
that I think people miss is that there's the stereotypical person, let's take alcohol, that the alarm clock goes off and their hand is shaking because they have that.
Oh, wow.
Now, they have a severe drinking problem, but there's people that have a lot of problems as a result of drinking. They're not necessarily waking up shaking or dependent.
But
they have-
other problems
But there's
in their
all
life.
kinds of other things that are indicators in their life that they probably have a problem with drinking.
We interviewed Patrick Kennedy on a couple of months ago for the magazine, and he said that alcoholism is the only disease that people wait till it gets to stage 4 to take care of.
Right.
Whereas in the other disease, they're getting you in there, they're taking care of it.
Yeah, if
taking
you notice that
medicine,
you
so-
have something happening, you're going to take care of it, where you're going to avoid it until it's, red alert time with this.
All right, guys, we still have more viewer questions to get to, and we will do that right after a quick break. And welcome back, everyone. We are here with Sober Recovery, Greg Hannley, Daniel Baldwin, and the lovely Tara Connor. And we're answering your questions. And we have several to get to, so we'll just get started. They're a lot of fun, by the way. This is a fun group right here.
Thanks.
All right, here's our next question. How can a loved one tell the difference between a bad habit and an addiction?
Same
loved
thing we
one.
just said.
It's the same.
Right.
It's the same answer for all of that.
But a loved one, like someone on the outside looking in, how can they tell the difference?
Is it affecting them? Is it affecting their family?
Is there really a difference? Smoking, drinking, this, that, sex, whatever it's going to be. If it's a bad habit,
Yeah.
then you would not do it if you were capable of just stopping doing it.
Bad habit
Right.
it's a nice word to call an addiction.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
I close my hand on my car door every day. God, I
Over
want
and
to stop
over.
doing
Yeah,
that.
and it's like,
I mean,
I'm
you'd
just going to call
stop.
this a bad habit so that I don't feel like I'm outing my addict at home.
Yeah, I think
Feels
they're the
better
same.
to call it
I
that.
have a bad habit with honey buns.
They are delicious. They
The
are
question now
delicious.
you must ask yourself is, are you addicted to honey buns?
Probably.
Hi, I'm
There you
Daniel.
But I'm
go.
not willing to stop those yet, so.
It's not ready. She's
I
not
haven't
ready.
hit
She has it at the bottom.
I haven't hit bottom.
She still looks great.
Thank you.
All right, guys, here's our next one. How can family and friends move forward and make a difference in the life of the person who is undergoing treatment? And I know we talk about this a lot, the role that family plays in recovery, and just loved ones, people that care about the person that's
Well, it's
going
a
through
family
it.
disease. I mean, I think that the old intervention model was like, let's all surround the addict and but the truth is we all have a part to play in it, because you have to ask your family member, like, why does this person need to act a certain way for you to feel comfortable? Right? Why do they have to be the one to change in order for you to feel safe and comfortable in your skin? So it's good that everyone gets involved and everyone can seek that treatment, because you don't have to be an addict to like go to a 12-step program and have your life recreated.
So, and to get a little education and understanding about when somebody gets out of treatment, what they need to do to maintain their recovery. So it's kind of like a lot of times you'll have somebody who's been missing dad, and then he goes to treatment and they think dad's going to be home, he's going to be there, he's going to be doing, and dad needs to go to a meeting.
Yeah.
And dad needs to do some recovery related things, and you've got to encourage that and not be jealous of it.
What about me?
Well, in the family, you know, and I know from experiences and watching Greg, particularly in the early years, and getting a better understanding of it, is every family member plays a certain role, some more significant than others. When you've got a father or mother on the phone, you're going, and this is a high-end a person that's having a problem. Yeah, you can't give him $5,000 a month anymore from his trust fund. He's smoking crack every day in hotel rooms. He's going to die. Right. And you try to explain, but I don't want him to be homeless.
Right.
No, you have to stop. You know,
Right.
I can't get that kid to come in if he's got no. I need him to have no place to go.
Right.
It's called loving them to death.
Yeah, we can definitely love people to death. Like, no, I don't want to upset you.
I don't want him to be homeless. That's my child.
I get it. It's hard for mothers, like for mothers especially, because I was an addict since I was 14, but it's almost like my mom had blinders on because it just couldn't be true.
She loved you so much.
She loved me so much, and it was more about like, you know, it wasn't, and this isn't a thing to the mom, but like it wasn't don't smoke, it was don't let anyone see you smoke. Because I think that in society we're all wrapped up in how good we look, right? And what it looks like.
That's a great point.
Yeah, that we don't want to just be honest and say, wow, we're having some struggles right now, and start reaching for that support. And again, we try to figure it out on our own, trying to fix a problem with the same brain that led us to the problem.
And you know, that leads me to something that's really been heavy on my heart. We knew a guy, Greg and I, that got into recovery, and we knew of him and played a role sometimes in his recovery, and he just passed away after being sober. And the interesting thing that Greg and I have now found out is,
Tried it one more time.
One more time
After
being 2 years sober,
Just one time.
and one time, and he's dead.
Right.
And what was alarming to me was the number of people that knew for a month before that he had smoked a little pot, he had drank, and no one called Greg right to say, hey, so-and-so's, he's kind of struggling a little bit now, maybe you guys should call him. No one said anything. Well, those secrets kill people. They kill people. You're not doing any service to the person if you're the brother that knows and you don't tell someone.
They feel like they're betraying them, but they're
his
not.
mom left me a message that when they went, so we had a really big service in so his mom said when they went back for the service in North Carolina, 5 moms came up to her and had the same thing happen that she didn't know about. And it's kind of like when you get in that club, then you realize the gravity of this. And it's kind of like there is too much. And some real changes need to get made.
Yeah.
You know, Trump signs executive orders, and he needs to make an order because in the last 8 years, there's 400,000 young kids that have, and going through, I went through this 3 times last week with different families, or not last week, but over the last couple of weeks, and they have to stop it on the front end and quit allowing pharmacists to prescribe, over-prescribe opiate-based medications. They had the first kid, it's the youngest kid this week, an 11-year-old overdosed on fentanyl in Florida this week. An 11-year-old.
How does an 11-year-old, how do you even
Medicine
get
cabinets.
Yeah, medicine cabinet or from a drug dealer.
I will say a third of the people that I used with back home in Kentucky, because of the opioid epidemic, before it turned into heroin, we didn't have heroin. I just lost someone that I loved 2 days ago who died of an overdose, who was trying to get well, and a third of them are dead. And today it's not even, it's almost like if you don't expect them to die, then you're silly because there's no support.
Well, we had interviewed this young man, and he had been to treatment multiple times prior to getting to us. And he was, I think, almost 3 years clean. And he had said, he goes, I've been to jail, and I've been to institutions. He goes, the next time for me, the only thing's left is death.
In the interview, he said this. and the next time he used, he passed. This is, and this, you know, I have to tell you that I put him in every one of the treatment studies, and I've known the mother since I'm 5 years old. And I actually contemplated last week whether I can even do this anymore. It hit me that deep. I've known him since he was born, and I thought to myself, it's just such a battle to try to get people to understand how serious a problem this is in our country now, and what it looks like 10 years down the road if we don't do something. We're talking about millions of people will die.
11-year-olds are dying right now.
Oh my God.
11-year-olds.
It's so sad.
All right, I hate to have to go to break, you guys, but we will have more with Soba after a quick break. Stay with us, guys. And we are back with Sober Recovery, and if we have somebody joining us right now, guys, who maybe they feel like they're battling an addiction, they have a loved one they're worried about, what can they do today, right now, to make a difference?
We like to say it starts with the phone call. Reach out to us, it's really easy. You can watch back this show. I know that people even reach out to you guys at Fox.
They do.
You send us the messages, and it's really easy
No
to get us on the
judgment,
phone.
no obligation, just call and talk. It's okay, it's a safe place to do that.
Even if you have questions and you don't know if you have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're wondering.
If you're like, do I? Give us a call.
And moms, don't forget, if you think your kid's is doing something, they're usually doing something.
They're probably doing
And that's another great thing of the extension of Alex and Greg in particular, you know, at Soba. They're going to take your call, they're going to help you. If you're somebody down in Florida and is not going to come, they're still going to help you and answer your questions and talk you through it. So, you know, that's just being a such
Yeah, if
great
we're not the right
service.
place, we'll help try to find the right place for you.
Get you the help you need. Well, the phones are open. Soba is open. There will always be someone there to answer your call. So the number is 866-948-9014. You can also go to sobatexas.com. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Yeah.
Love when you're here.
I'm not going to play it again.
Oh, no.
I'm going to show her why she
Why not? Why not?
I got to show her why she's got to get.
I want to get a new, what are they?
Hi, I'm Daniel Baldwin, and this is Soba, Texas, where I got sober. When you come to Soba, you're not going to a hospital. You're going to a beautiful ranch. You're going to a place of peace where you're going to join a family of people that have a common problem, addiction or alcohol. Your treatment plan is made by the clinicians here at Soba, depending upon the circumstances in your life, not like one size fits all. It starts with a phone call. Someone will answer the phone and talk you through exactly what your needs are. Call now.